The books that the world calls immoral are books that show the world its own shame. If one cannot enjoy reading a book over and over again, there is no use in reading it at all. Yes, I am a dreamer, for a dreamer is one who can only find his way by moonlight, and his punishment is that he sees the dawn before the rest of the world. You will always be fond of me, represent to you all the sins you never had the courage to commit. You don't love someone for their looks, or their clothes, or for their fancy car, but because they sing a song only you can hear. I never travel without my diary. One should always have something sensational to read in the train. I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to use them, to enjoy them, and to dominate them. Nowadays people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Education is an admirable thing, but it is well too. Remember from time to time that nothing that is worth knowing can be taught. All women become like their mothers. That is their tragedy. No man does, and that is his. There is only one thing in the world worse than being talked about, and that is not being talked about. Children begin by loving their parents. As they grow older, they judge them. Sometimes they forgive them. It is absurd to divide people into good and bad. People are either charming or tedious. Anybody can sympathize with the sufferings of a friend, but it requires a very fine nature to sympathize with a friend's success. After a good dinner, one can forgive anybody, even one's and relations. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Let nothing be lost upon you. Be always searching for new sensations. Be afraid of nothing. One choose my friends for their good looks, my acquaintances for their good characters, and my enemies for their good intellects. To get back my youth, I would do anything in the world, except take exercise, get up early, or be respectable. Nowadays, most people die of a sort of creeping common sense, and discover when it is too late that the only things one never regrets are one's mistakes. There are only two kinds of people who are really fascinating: people who know absolutely everything, and people who know absolutely nothing. Society often forgives the criminal, it never forgives the dreamer. The public have an insatiable curiosity to know everything, except what is worth knowing. Laughter is not at all a bad beginning for a friendship, and it is by far the best ending for one. There is no such thing as a moral or an immoral book. Books are well written, or badly written, that is all. The nicest feeling in the world is to do a good deed, anonymously, and have somebody find out. Whenever a man does a thoroughly stupid thing, it is always from the noblest motives. There are many things that we would throw away if we were not afraid that others might pick them up. In this world there are only two tragedies. One is not getting what one wants, and the other is getting it. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. If I am occasionally a little overdressed, I make up for it by being always immensely overeducated. Music makes one feel so romantic, at least it always gets on one's nerves, which is the same thing nowadays. Keep loving your heart. A life without it is like a sunless garden when the flowers are dead. The consciousness of loving and being loved brings a warmth and a richness to life that nothing else can bring. And I hope you have not been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being good all the time. That would be hypocrisy. I like persons better than principles, and I like persons with no principles better than anything else in the world. There is a luxury in self-reproach when we blame ourselves. We feel that no one else has a right to blame us. It is the confession, not the priest, that gives us absolution. A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. If I am occasionally a little overdressed, I make up for it by being always immensely overeducated. Men marry because they are tired, women because they are curious. Both are disappointed. Never regret thy fall, O Icarus of the fearless flight. For the greatest tragedy of them all is never to feel the burning light. Life is never fair, and perhaps it is a good thing for most of us that it is not. The reason we all like To think so well of others is that we are all afraid for ourselves. The basis of optimism is sheer terror. She behaves as if she was beautiful. Most American women do. It is the secret of their charm. Selfishness is not living as one wishes to live, it is asking others to live as one wishes to live. They get up early because they have so much to do, and go to bed early because they have so little to think about. Friendship is far more tragic than love. It lasts longer. I adore simple pleasures. They are the last refuge of the complex. There is always something ridiculous about the emotions of people whom one has ceased to love. I love to talk about nothing. It's the only thing I know anything about. One has a right to judge a man by defect he has over his friends. In matters of grave importance, style, not sincerity, is the vital thing. Man is many things, but he is not rational. Ordinary riches can be stolen, real riches cannot. In your soul are infinitely precious things that cannot be taken from you. A man's face is his autobiography. A woman's face is her work of fiction. Life is not complex. We are complex. Life is simple. And the simple thing is the right thing. I am sick to death of cleverness. Everybody is clever nowadays. Popularity is the one insult I have never suffered. Sin is a thing that writes itself across a man's face. It cannot be concealed. I never change, except in my affections. To be natural is such a very difficult pose to keep up. My own business always bores me to death. I prefer other people's. Memory is the diary we all carry about with us. Conformity is the last refuge of the unimaginative. Experience is one thing you can't get for nothing. Appearance blinds, whereas words reveal. Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious. When we are happy, we are always good, but when we are good, we are not always happy. A gentleman is one who never hurts anyone's feelings unintentionally. I could deny it if I like. I could deny anything if I like. To be popular, one must be a mediocrity. Women love us for our defects. If we have enough of them, they will forgive us everything, even our intellects. What seems to us as bitter trials are often blessings in disguise. One should always be a little improbable. Moderation is a fatal thing. Nothing succeeds like excess. The true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible. Behind every exquisite thing that existed, there was something tragic. When one is in love, one always begins by deceiving oneself, and one always ends by deceiving others. That is what the world calls a romance. Whenever people agree with me, I always feel I must be wrong. Morality is simply the attitude we adopt towards people we personally dislike.